and welcome to Best Laid Plans. This is your host, Sarah Hart-Unger, and this is the podcast where we talk all things planning and planning adjacent. And I am very excited to be coming to you today on the first of the month. Obviously, Monday is not typically the first of the month, and I guess probably statistically, 1/7 of the start of each month happen on a Monday. But it always feels a little bit special and elevated when that does occur, like you're starting with a fresh start in two ways at once. And this month, hopefully, with its auspicious beginning, will be a good one for all of us. So welcome to June. This is your official welcome if you are listening to this podcast on the day that it comes out. And just a little update as to what's going around here. As I talked through my summer planning last week, we are really headed into actual summer around our household. The kids are finishing up school, and June I see as a very quiet but fun summer routine sort of a month for us. We have zero travel, which is somewhat of an anomaly. It's been a very travel heavy year, but I have no weekends away, no trips, no big things really at all happening this month. And honestly, I'm very much looking forward to that stretch. I do have a week of call. The kids are going to be in camp. Some of their activities are going to be less. So yeah, quieter, fun, but in a more low-key way. So I'm definitely looking forward to this month. And I also have a little side project of my own. As I talked about, I really want this to be a very family-focused season, but my one kind of personal non-work project is going to be getting back into the gym, like the physical, actual gym, rather than working out with weights at home for the first time in probably close to 2 decades. So I'm very excited about that. And it goes very well with one of the products that I'm going to talk about in this episode. I know I've been kind of teasing you a physical analog review episode in a while, and we finally have one today. We're going to talk about a workout journal that a listener sent to me in detail that is very affordable, very accessible, and might be a fun way to add a little bit of fresh start energy to your summer, as well as a big behemoth of a daily planner, just in case you're in that group of people who started something in the beginning of the year and are just finding the need for some kind of shift to see your time and tasks differently, to write things out in a different way. Maybe you're looking for some more structure. Well, I have an option for you. All right, so let's just get to it. Our first product, and that we're going to talk about today, was submitted by a listener named Heaven, and Heaven wrote, I want to share the workout tracker I use because it's perfect for tracking weights and cardio along with your physical progress. I've tried a lot of different workout tracking methods and journals, but this one is my favorite and it's so affordable. It's called Fitness Planner by Taja, Taja. And it's both available on Amazon, which is a link that she sent me and I'll include in the show notes, but it's also available through Taja's own website, which is tajaacademic.com. And I'll share that link as well for people who prefer to purchase things in a different way than Amazon. I mean, I'm not judging. I have many things on order from Amazon, but I know some people are trying to stay away from that and go to smaller companies. But anyway, so this journal is a workout journal. It is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches, so it is A5 size, and it really is quite a versatile little book that I think could just really help someone as they are beginning a fitness journey, looking for some sort of fresh start inspiration, wanting to track some more details. And I'm going to go through with a little bit of walkthrough. It's 160 pages, but it's got a fairly simple layout, so we're just going to go through and talk about the sections. I will do some photos for this week's show notes that you can find on my website, theshoebox.com, theshubox.com. I'm also going to be sharing a giveaway later in this episode, so I guess there's more than one reason you might want to go check out the show notes today, but I will include some examples and filled out photos from these planners. All right, so again, it's the Taja, Taja Fitness Planner. You open it up, and we have a spread for up to 10 goals. So maybe you have functional goals, maybe you have body composition goals. Either way, you can put them in here. You have place to put your start date, your deadline, your action plan, etc. So this could be great for brainstorming what your goals are. Then you have a 2-page blank spread that just says my exercises. So maybe there are certain things you're trying to master, or you're going to keep track of different lifts that you're trying in the gym or different machines. You could track them all here. That's a very versatile 2-page spread. Then we have a little progress tracker, And basically, this goes 20 weeks. It starts with week 1, and there's tiny little boxes that go all the way to week 20 where you can track various metrics. There is a line to track weight for 20 weeks, a section to track body fat percent for those 20 weeks. And then the rest of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other things are left open-ended. So you could track how many push-ups you can do in a certain amount of time or how many steps on average you've taken. You can track any number of things. Really, if you could think about it, you could track it. You could even go outside of fitness and track your screen time or books read or things like that. But a cute little tracker page, especially if someone felt like they were really embarking on a multiple week journey. I think this page would be a fun one to bookmark and really enjoy keeping track. And then there's a very cute little 6-month calendar where you could map out what you're doing. I could see that if you were training for a race or you have a specific fitness plan, like you were doing the Caroline Girvan Iron Series like I did, you could map out on the calendar how you plan to do this. Or you could use this calendar more as a color-coded tracker, which as you did a certain type of workout, you could color in the square depending on what you did, and you'd have a 6-month little mosaic showing you your accomplishments. So yeah, I could see using this little page, and again, there'll be pictures in the show notes, in either a prospective or retrospective manner. Then we've got a couple of pages. I think Heaven, when she wrote to me, joked that she had not felt moved to use these, but maybe she would someday, who knows. These are for starting points and results. Now, if you're not looking for specific aesthetic results, you don't want to track your measurements, then obviously you can skip using these pages. I will remind everyone that you are absolutely allowed to use the parts of a planner that work for you and either repurpose or just don't use the parts of a planner that don't work. You can end up recycling the whole thing at the end of the day, and the recycle bin probably doesn't care if you've written on it or not. So if this part is not for you, then you can ignore it, but it does give you a place to track all kinds of measurements and even a place to put before and after photos. So you could use a sticker printer and do cute little before and afters and paste them in if you wanted to get really hardcore that way. And there are 4 pages of that. Then we get into the meat of this planner, and it really takes up most of the planner. I'm trying to see if it's all of it, actually. Let's see. So it's 20 weeks worth, and it goes almost until the end. And it is a very functional little daily spread where you could track a whole bunch of health metrics. And I filled this page out for one of the strength workouts I did recently, and I found it very easy to write the names of the exercises, the weights, etc. So at the top of the page, you put the date. You could note week 1, week 2, etc. There's not a designated place to put that, but you could. It has a space to put your workout name. It says weight, it says start and finish. So that could be the start time and finish time of your workout. It has time to check off for stretch, warm up, and cool down. And then there is space for tracking stats on up to 12 exercises. So for example, my number 1 said glute biased Bulgarian split squat. I guess that's what it was called. And there's a place to put the number of reps that you're doing, as well as columns for each set, and then how much weight you're lifting. So really, all of the relevant details to a weight workout would fit on this little thing for each exercise, and you can track up to 12 exercises. So 12 exercises and up to 6 sets in the columns. And again, if you need a visual, I promise there'll be pictures in the show notes, so go and check those out there. If I'm really, really feeling fancy, I might try to do a video this weekend, but I don't know. Don't hold your breath for that. I'm not fantastic when I try to do video, but if my husband helps me set up the little phone holding thing, then maybe we will give it a shot. But if not, you will find some photos in the show notes, theshoebox.com, and just look for today's show notes. There is also a space to note your cardio, where you can put how much time you spent, distance, intensity, and then there's a little dot grid note section on the bottom. So if you were doing some kind of nutrition tracking, this would be a great place to track macros, to write down what you were eating, etc. And then there's even a place to write down the rating of your workout. Now, one criticism I could see some people having is this does have a lot of space where it prompts you to enter weight or body fat. And if those are not in line with your fitness goals, then that might be annoying to you. So of course, your mileage may vary there, but you could also, of course, choose not to use those sections or repurpose them for something else. Like where it says weight, you could put a mood rating scale of 1 to 10, how you are feeling on that particular day, or you could use that space to track sleep or any other number of things. So yeah, there's enough for 20 weeks of day-by-day workout recording in this journal. It's 160 pages long. And then at the end, there are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 notes pages that are just lined and blank where you could track progress. You could track, I don't know, anything that you wanted to that was relevant to your fitness journey. So yeah, this whole thing is $7.99 on Amazon, similarly priced on their own website. So it is a fairly low kind of commitment thing if it's something you want to give a try. And I do think if you happen to be in a space right now, maybe you're happy with your planner setup, but you just want something a little fresh for this new season, this might be a really fun adjunct if you have fitness goals you are working towards this summer. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and then we are going to get in our second planner review and walkthrough. Today's episode is brought to you with support from IXL, a learning platform that helps support kids in all settings, including homeschool. Summer is such a great opportunity to reinforce important skills and help kids stay confident before the next school year begins. IXL helps homeschool families as well as kids in traditional school to maintain steady progress without feeling rigid or overwhelming. We've used it for years during the summer to help keep skills fresh for the next academic level. Everything at IXL is organized by grade and subject, so you can quickly find what each child needs without juggling multiple resources. Whether reviewing earlier concepts, staying sharp in summer, or tackling new material, IXL adapts to each child's pace with no pressure. And it's really designed well to keep kids engaged with celebrations, awards, and visible progress markers. I know this summer, my 8-year-old is excited to start her IXL pathway to 3rd grade. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. Best Laid Plans listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/plans. Visit IXL.com/plans to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price. Today's episode is brought to you with support from Green Chef. In my opinion, the best nutrition strategy is to make the healthy options easy. It's one thing to have elaborate plans to follow health trends, but it's another thing entirely to have healthy food on hand, ready to go, that already meets your nutritional goals. Green Chef is a fantastic way to make your healthy lifestyle easy. With Green Chef, every week you get over 40 recipes made with organic produce, responsibly sourced proteins, and no ingredients you can't pronounce. They have meals that come pre-portioned and are ready in minutes. And if you want extra nutrition guidance, they include free, unlimited one-on-one coaching that helps you stay on track. Green Chef is also the only certified clean meal kit as tested by the Clean Label Project, and the most sustainable meal kit with 20% less food waste and 100% offset delivery emissions. I love it when we have a Green Chef week at our house. It means that healthy and delicious meals are just ready to go. No additional mental load required. Head to greenchef.com/50bestlaid and use code 50bestlaid to get 50% off your first month, then 20% off for 2 months. That's code 50bestlaid at greenchef.com/50bestlaid.
Expedia and Visit Scotland invite you to come step into centuries of history that await in Scotland. Castles steeped in legend walk along cobblestone streets. Come share the warmth of stories passed down through generations. This is a place with a past that is fully present today and all yours to explore. Plan your Scottish escape today at expedia.com/Visit Scotland.
All right, I am back. And the planner we're going to talk about next is from a company called the Dailee, and it's spelled Dailee. And I have to admit, I had not heard about the Dailee. I had not really seen them anywhere, except that all of a sudden I saw them everywhere. I had someone write to me that they really loved using their planner from this company, or they were considering using it. That was from a listener named Tiana. So thank you, Tiana. And then another listener, Tess, who was giving some budget tips, mentioned her love of this planner and also lamented that she hadn't heard about it on this podcast. Well, I was able to write her back that I had already ordered this for review because I read about it and how much was packed in there and was dying to see it in person. So today is the debut of a new planner brand that we haven't chatted about on this podcast for, called the Dailee. And again, that's not Daily as you might think, but Dailee. Now, the Dailee makes a lot of different planners, different layouts. There are weekly ones, there are corporate ones, there are ones for social media people, there are mom planners, both weekly and daily. And I decided to review that one because it's the one that I believe Tiana mentioned to me that she was looking at, and also because it had so many features, including some features that you don't always see in a planner. Now, I know I have male listeners. I've heard from a few of them recently. This could easily be a dad planner as well. There is nothing, that moms have to do that are only done by moms. Like men can also manage the groceries and the cleaning. So I would just say this could be rebranded like a household CEO type planner, whoever that is in the family. But it does have some spreads that are a little bit more family oriented and kid oriented, as we'll get to in a second. So there is kind of a parent aspect to this planner. If that's not for you, though, the Dailee has a number of a little bit more open-ended products, including some blank undated planners. So I was pretty impressed at some of the number of variations that they had on offer. They definitely did not stick to just one layout or combination of features. They also, it's worth mentioning, offer digital planners with various types, as well as Notion templates. So if you are someone who's like, I wish I had my life organized on Notion, but I really don't feel like doing the startup, I don't want to set it up, this might be a really cool entry point to have kind of a planner-like system using the Notion system and then kind of customizing from there. All right, so this planner came to me and I'm going to read the list of features and tell you my first impressions. So it goes from August 2026 to July 2027. It has daily to-do areas with hourly time blocking and notes. There is school info and babysitter info, weekly overviews with grocery list, workout planning, and habit tracking, monthly calendars plus budget and expense tracking, spring cleaning checklist and weekly cleaning schedules, travel planners, monthly and annual calendars, yearly to-dos and goals planning, monthly progress tracking. Oh my gosh. So you're getting the picture. It is packed, packed, packed. So I'm like, how large is this planner going to be? Well, it turns out it is 500 plus pages, and they do note that in the specs. They're not trying to hide it. And it is made out of 100 GSM paper, which is not super thin. So I thought this has to be enormous. It is 7 inches by 9 inches. So that's like bigger than A5 size. It's like the Erin Condren makes 7x9 planners. So I think of it as EC size, although of course it's not their proprietary planner size. But it's smaller than an 8.5, 11 page. It is larger than your typical A5. I have some pictures that I took next to my Hobonichi planner, which is pretty packed, just so you can see the size comparison. And in particular, the rings on this baby are absolutely enormous. I did not measure them, but I'm going to say they're about 1.5 inches in diameter, just eyeballing it. And we did weigh the planner, and it came out, I think, to like 1.6 kilograms, which is more than 3 pounds. So this is you could lift weights with this guy. This is a heavy and big planner. I don't know how many people would want to be bringing it from place to place, but if you work at home and your planner generally lives on your desk and you just want to use it to organize everything in your life, this might be a fantastic option for you. So we're going to do a little bit of a walkthrough starting from the beginning, if I can lift it up, get my bicep curls in for the day. All right, so we have kind of a leather-like cover. It feels nice. I'm sure it is some kind of a synthetic. There are nice gold rounded corners on the edges, which is lovely. And the front one that I chose is an ivory color and just says 2026, 2027, fairly subtly stamped in gold in the middle, as well as the logo of the planner, the Dailee. The coils are, I was going to say they're gold, but I think, they're like a subtle gold to match. So that kind of adds to the attractiveness. And as we open the planner, there's a little snap-in ruler. And then we are greeted with a page, if found, please return to, and the phone. We then have some very functional annual calendar spreads, one for 2026 and one for 2027. These are small with all of the months on one page. I like to use this kind of spread for tracking vacations and paid time off days. You can kind of keep track of what you have there. You could color code them. You could turn them into school calendars. There's not a lot of space to write extra info, but again, these are great for broad overviews of the year. There is then a list of holidays, which include a fairly wide variety of holidays. Let's see. Yes, it looks like we've got multiple religions represented here. I always love to see that. And it looks like mainly US holidays, in addition to at least a few religions represented here. And then we have an important dates section going from August to July, where there's a space for each month and you can list important dates. It's always a little disconcerting seeing 12 boxes for the year that start in a month other than January, but I guess it makes sense for this planner, which does begin in August. So it wouldn't make sense for them to start in January. Then we have a yearly to-do page. So if someone had kind of seasonal items, like this is separated by month. So I imagine this more as like, oh, in December, we're going to buy holiday decorating supplies, or seasonal type to-dos, you could put them on that page. There is a page for usernames and password. Your mileage may vary as to how comfortable you are writing those out in your planner. If someone found that, it probably wouldn't be great, but you could put them here, or you could use some kind of code. And then we have a few travel planning pages. And let's see, we have just two of those. Okay. So if you were taking like 2 big trips in a year, you could use these. If you had more, you'd have to do something else, but it has space for your flight details and activities and places to see and places to eat. It looks really cute. It would be fun to fill out. Lots of anticipatory joy there, as well as a family packing checklist to the other side. I sort of can't imagine carrying this big book around the house as you're packing up your suitcases, but it might work for somebody. So, and at least maybe it's your initial way of thinking through your checklist, and then you could customize it for yourself going forward. So again, we have 2 of those, and those are geared, I'd say, towards families, since it's a family packing checklist and it has space for people's stuff in like up to 6 household members, and you can check off how many undergarments, how many socks, how many sweatpants, etc. I admit I do not do my family's packing in that granular of a way, but my kids are older, so maybe when they were little, I was a little bit more specific on how much we wanted to bring of each thing. We then have a 2-page spread with a gift organizer list. That's great. So you have a space for name and gift idea and your budget, and then an important phone numbers list. School information. This is actually, I feel like I often struggle with like, wait, what is the office number for the middle school versus the elementary school, etc. So this is a place you can record your kids' teachers' names, principals' names, phone numbers, etc. Again, I do feel like this is stuff many people would have directly in their phone, but can be helpful to have a written version. And there's space for that in this planner. Then we have 1 page for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 goals for 2026 and 2027. No, I'm sorry. Actually, it's only 4 goals because the left-hand side has a goal, a reward, and the right-hand side has an action plan. So if you had 4 main goals for the year, you could put them on this page. And then there's kind of an open-ended monthly progress tracker next to that, as well as a spring cleaning checklist. I am not a rebel, but the rebel in me looks at this and is like, I do not want to clean my baseboards, so I'm going to leave that one unchecked. But for some people, they might absolutely love having the structure and these reminders. So again, this is going to fall into the hands of the right person and be very valuable. They then have, actually, this is really unique and cute. It's tear-off pages, 4 of them, where they are notes for babysitters. So these actually are perforated. The rest of the planner is not, and designed to be ripped out of the planner and maybe put on a bulletin board or handed to your babysitter with all kinds of home information, kid information, how to reach the doctor, etc. And then the back says, we appreciate you. So again, designed to be handed to a babysitter. Have not seen that feature in a planner before, and I think that's a really nice touch. And then we go into the meat of the planner. So yeah, that was a lot of like preamble, but a lot of those spreads could be useful for people. And then we head into each month's content. The monthly layout here, I think, is beautiful. They really use every piece of the space, and the boxes for the calendar month are lined. So, I mean, I feel like this is just incredibly functional for a monthly spread. You could actually do a lot of your calendaring on these spreads. You could use them to track things. You could use them to really see the big picture of your month, but they really made great use of the space on this page. And there is a space on the right in a column to list monthly to-dos. There are 7 spaces there, as well as 7 spaces for notes. And then a little key where you could color code if you want: holiday, birthday, no school appointment, and travel. On the back side of that page is a little monthly budget page. I'm going to admit I could not use this page because I just feel like there's more categories in my budget life than there are spaces on this page, although there are some blank lines, so you never know. And then on the right-hand side is a space for you to list expenses. Once again, this may just be part of having a household of 5 people, but I am pretty certain, looking at YNAB, and YNAB is the budgeting app that I use and I reconcile it every month, our monthly expenses would not fit on this page just because there's so many little one-off things that there's probably about 30 lines on this, and I wish we just had 30 transactions in the month, but that is definitely not the case. We then have a page for brain dump, which is just some open-ended checklists. And then we have a cleaning schedule, and we actually get this page every month, I believe. Let me double check. I don't believe it's every week. Yeah, it's every month. You get a cleaning schedule. So if you would like to decide how you want to organize your cleaning, you could do that, or you could repurpose this into a workout schedule or a piano practicing schedule or really anything you want. So remember, with these very structured products, you don't always have to use every page for what it says. You can cover it with a sticker. You can cross it off. You don't even have to relabel it at all. You probably remember if it has workout stuff listed, that's what you turned it into. Then we have a weekly overview page, which is a meal planning theme on the left, and then a kind of standard weekly overview on the right. On the left, there's a space to write your plans for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for every day of the week, plus a grocery list. And then on the right, we have the days kind of on the left-hand half of the page listed from Monday through Sunday. And on the right, we have a checklist. Plus, we have a space to put workouts and a habit tracker. So a ton of real estate for this weekly planning. And then finally, we get into the daily pages, of which there is one for every single day of the year, starting in late July and then going all the way around until the end of the year. These pages have a really nice functional layout, and I enjoyed kind of playing with them. They have space for an hourly schedule and half-hour increments that go from 5 a.m. to 12 a.m., a large amount of space for to-do lists, and you could, of course, repurpose some of that into something else, as I like to do. A little notes area on the bottom, no dot grid there, just empty, although there are lined pages in the back, so you can kind of use those grid lines to make it a little bit easier to write neatly if you wanted to. And that's pretty much what is in this planner that then repeats each month with, again, there's a notes page at the end of the month, just a blank page. And then you have your dividers, which they're not like if you're used to having a tabbed planner where the tab page is much thicker and kind of a different paper. This one, it's a little bit thicker, but it's not terribly thick. It is thicker. It's like a lightweight cardstock that is marking each month. And then again, there are tabs that demarcate August, September, etc., all the way down into July and finishing out the planner. As you go through again, each month has its budget, its brain dump, cleaning schedule, weekly overview, both from a meal prep and then from an overall point of view, and then the daily pages. And that continues through over 500 pages. That's why this planner is so large and in charge here all the way until the end. And there's really not much closing content, just a notes page on the back of that very last day, which is July 30th. And then it ends. You guys, if you hear that, this is a big bubba. Okay. That is this is a very functional planner. It has a lot of structure that some people would be looking for. Other people would absolutely not be looking for that. And this is not the planner for you if you want to create all of your own headings and be able to really think of all your own lists, etc. I really prefer the open-ended nature of something like a Hobonichi. But for some people, this is going to be fantastic. I just don't think a ton of people are going to want to carry this around with you. I'm not saying it's a phone book, but it is not far from a phone book. So this guy would want to live on your desk. If you did want a lot of these features, but you did not want it to be so large, they do have weekly versions of their planners as well, which have significantly fewer pages and I have to imagine smaller rings and would have a lower profile. So definitely don't rule it out looking at the daily because you don't want a big planner, but just know that this particular one, the Mom Planner from August 2026 to July 2027, is quite large. Now, I am going to give this planner away because I am still quite happy in my Hobonichi setup. And I'd love to put this into the hands of someone who would really enjoy using it. So please leave a comment on the show notes for this episode if you're interested in me mailing you this planner. I am going to limit this to the United States and Canada just to avoid having crazy shipping costs, because given how heavy this is, we might be into like triple digits to send it way overseas. But for the US and Canada, you can feel free to enter and just leave a comment on my website. I will do a random number drawing on Friday after this episode airs. So I guess that's Friday, June 5th. And I'll make sure to announce the winner that day, as well as in Monday, the show notes for the week after. All right. Well, this has been quite a review episode. Really was overdue for one of those. If you are excited about a planner or a brand and you feel like I need to do another review, I'm sure I will prior to the start of Q4. Maybe summer can be like my big review season with all the fall releases. Let me know. I will order it. I will probably give it away, and I would love to chat about it on the podcast. So in the meantime, I hope you're having a wonderful kickoff to summer, or of course, winter for our Southern Hemisphere listeners. Sorry, I haven't forgotten about you, and I know you are out there, and I love hearing from you guys as well. But fresh start to a new fun season, and I'll be back in your feed next week with some more planning fun. Thank you so much for listening.
podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.